So I'm not even looking
You
at
actually
cameras. I'm
just look
looking
at
at
me.
you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have a
I'm done with that.
conversation, and I'll.
So we're ready, and so we're gonna have
Yep.
we're rolling and quiet on the set.
Okay. Okay. There you go. Welcome to Community Views, Community Voices. I'm Suzanne St. John Crane, Executive Director of Create TV San Jose. And in studio with me today is Jennifer Sullivan, and she's the Executive Director of the Morgan Autism Center. Welcome, Jennifer. Good to have
Thank you. I'm so
here.
glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you and learn more about what this organization does. I've certainly a bit familiar with it just since Morgan Autism Center has been in here doing PSAs and got to know you a little bit in Rotary. But I think for our viewers, why don't you kind of give us an overview of what the center does?
We are a center that we started in 1969, so it's sort of an unusual place.
Wow.
We have both a school program and an adult program for individuals with autism. The way that people come to us is whenever a school district identifies a child with special needs, they usually try to serve them within their own boundaries.
Sure.
So a San Jose child would be served in San Jose School District, or the Palo Alto child would be in Palo Alto, or Hayward child would be in Hayward. But when those school districts cannot provide the special education services that that particular child needs, then the school districts will come to us and contract with us for the more specialized services that we can provide. So we do get kids that are a little bit more challenging,
Sure.
that would not be successful within a regular public school system.
It sounds like a really unique model, and I think very timely given the
Yes.
increase in sort of diagnoses of kids with autism.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that. How has it increased, certainly since the center started?
Since the center started and since I started back in the late 70s, things have really, really increased. And we were seeing that even through the 80s and 90s, but there was no internet, there was no,
Right.
no way to really track some of that stuff. But in the last 10 years, there has been a huge, huge increase. Some of that is due to better diagnosis. There's no question that doctors now know what they're looking for. But there is something else going on too. There certainly is a genetic, probably some kind of genetic component. We don't know what that is yet. But there, in my own opinion, from what I've seen, there has to be some environmental influences that are affecting these kids.
And certainly there's a lot of speculation. I mean, we were talking before about, I remember as my kids were little when this was sort of coming into, all the headlines in the media about Jenny McCarthy and her son having that. And is it vaccinations, immunizations? What is this? And then I've also read, speculation about too much media, and is that giving our kids, whether it's ADHD or other sort of disabilities. So curious, sort of.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I don't think so. I think it's more serious than that. I think that we have all certainly been exposed to lots of environmental toxins. Vaccinations have been pretty much cleared in terms of as being a cause for autism. But there are so many things that we are exposed to, and we're all exposed to all those things. And as we're getting older and passing those on to our children, and then a lot of parents are having children at older ages, and we do know that influences the numbers of people being diagnosed with autism.
Well, it's inspiring to hear about the tools that centers like yours and others are using to sort of deal with the challenges that these kids have. So the use of art, music, electronic devices. Talk a little bit about that work.
Well, because so many children that are more involved and challenging don't have very good communication skills. People with autism tend not to have good communication skills. We want to give them other outlets that they can express themselves. So we certainly do that through art. And through music, and they all resonate with music. They love music, and it brings out something in them that's really wonderful. And you put a microphone in front of one of these kids, and you'll hear them sing all kinds of things when they may not be able to talk. But it is fascinating. But they also will paint and will draw and will create beautiful, sometimes absolutely stunning pictures, and it's amazing to see what they do. And sometimes it's just putting color on pages, but then we also do have electronic devices like iPads and even more sophisticated devices that we've loaded communication programs on them. So these kids who cannot tell you what they want can navigate through these things and then tell you what they want through pictures or icons or something.
Amazing.
And it is amazing because they have a lot to say.
Right.
And it's not apparent when you just see them walking around because they're not talking and they're not communicating and they're not initiating some kind of interaction with other people. But then you get them with something that can help them,
Sure.
and all of a sudden their wants and desires come out.
It's got to
and-
be so freeing for these kids. I mean,
Oh.
imagine it's almost like being trapped, and then suddenly you have this
Exactly.
opportunity to share and communicate.
Yes, exactly.
I would imagine a center like yours has plenty of opportunities to get involved and volunteer. Talk to us a little bit about that.
We do. We have opportunities for people who want to come and actually be with the students. I mean, as I mentioned, we do art, we do music, so we love
Yeah.
it when people come and do music with us. The kids love that, and our adults love it. We love art, so we love things like that. We also have events that we do, and love
Nice.
to have volunteers. We have an event coming up this summer. A Save-a-thon is what it is, and we're joining with the Indian community
Great.
and doing an event to it's a 5K or 10K run or
Nice.
walk, what people
Yep.
want to do on July 14th in Sunnyvale, and we have things like that. We have a golf tournament. We have a conference in
Sure.
the fall that we do at Santa Clara University.
Nice.
And this year, one of the things we're going to be focusing on is the transition of higher functioning people with autism to the workplace.
It's nice.
So we're really going to be focusing on that because that is a whole generation of kids who are lost.
Right. Lots of opportunities for folks
Yes.
to get involved, it
Yes.
sounds like, and participate. And this certainly is something that touches more and more people as
Yes.
the diagnoses have increased. Thank you so much for joining us today. I enjoyed learning more about what you guys are doing. And
Well, thank you for having me.
absolutely. And if you're inspired to learn more and get involved, please take a look at the contact information on your screen about the Morgan Autism Center. And I'm Suzanne St. John Crane. Thanks so much for joining us today on Community Views, Community Voices.